Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel Code for Tech Solutions. Today in this video, we are going to cover very interesting topic. So we are going to see how we can create a Python, Django, MongoDB CRUD application. So in this, we are going to see complete MongoDB CRUD application, how we can create that using Python, Django and Django REST framework. So let us see what are all prerequisites we need to install for this. Like first we need to install the Python. So if you have not installed, you can refer my video which will guide you on how to install Python on Windows 11. Next you need to install Django. This is the pip command through which you can install this Django. Django is a framework to create a web development in Python. Next we need to install the MongoDB like MongoDB adapter, which is a Django, and to install this we can use this command, pip command, and this is the MongoDB adapter, and this is the Django REST framework. So Django REST framework we can this will help us to create and build REST APIs in our Python web development. Next, we need to install the MongoDB on our system, and we can use this MongoDB Compass, which will provide which is a tool which will provide a UI for creating a MongoDB databases and the rest of the things. So this is about all the prerequisites we should be ready to create this application. So to create a view when we are using the Django REST framework, so we have various options, like we can go for API view, model view set, and we have various other options, like we can go for function based review, class based review, customs or mixins. So we need to choose one option to create the application. So today in this video we are going to choose model view set, which is the most recommended and popular one for creating views in Django REST framework. So please do not forget to like, subscribe and share, because at the end of the video you will forget to like, subscribe and share. So I will request you to please do that right now. So without wasting any further time, so let us jump into the coding part and see how we can implement this. So first of all, we can create one database. Let's say here we have these many existing databases. Now let me create one new, this is the MongoDB Compass. Once you install this and log in, so it will take you to this UI, and you can expand this, and here you have plus button, so which will help us to create a database. Okay, here you can name your database, like let's say std.db. We are going to create a student database, and inside this we can create one collection with name student. So this is the NoSQL and document oriented database MongoDB. So there we cannot create a table, rather everything will be treated in the form of collection and document. So we have created this student DB database, and this is a collection we need to create. Okay, so once we click on this create database, it will create the database and the collection for us. So we are done with our database creation. Now let us come back to our actual application. Here now you can see this is the empty, only we have this requirement.txt file. Why we have created this? Because when you go with this one, like installing the Django REST framework and Django using this pip install command, so that time you may come across some version incompatibility issues. So I have faced that issue when I try to install this with these commands, because I have created other videos with these commands, but there was not any problem. But while creating an application for the MongoDB, I have faced this issue. So instead of wasting time in resolving the compatibility issue and all, so I have created a version related stuff, which version related combination which will be working with us. Mostly we need to take care of this Django REST framework, and this Django, which is for MongoDB, and sometimes we need to check this version SQL pass. Okay, so these four versions we need to be in a sync or compatible with each other. Fine. Now we first thing we can do, we can first create our virtual environment. So to create first of all, we can see we can create a virtual environment. For that we can use this command, like this is the command, and here we can name our virtual environment. You can give any name, so I am giving .v in env, which is a recommended one. Fine, you can see it has created the virtual environment successfully along with all the respective folders. Now whatever we dependency will install library or package, that will come inside this one. Right now it is showing pip and this one. Now as we keep on installing, it will show there. Now if you want to check what all things are there right now. Okay, so this is the global installation. We don't want this one because we have created the virtual environment. So first we need to activate this. So for that we need to go to our virtual environment folder, and inside that we can go to scripts. Next we can activate. Now this is the virtual environment. You can see the virtual prompt inside the terminal. That means our virtual environment is activated successfully. What next we can do, like inside the virtual environment we can check what all things are there as in library which are available. Now we have only pip. Okay, so let us do, like, we need to install all these requirements. Okay, for that what we can do, like we can install, like if you have any question related to the virtual environment and global installation and all, I have created separate videos. You can refer that. You will have everything cleared related to these things. Now now to install the packages for this one, what we can do, we can use command install pip install -r, and we can give our file name, which is requirement.txt. So with this command, okay, so there is some requirements install. There is a spelling mistake in pip. It should be pip install. So this command will install all the packages which we have mentioned in this requirement.txt file. So it has started installing. So we will wait till it completes. Here once it complete, like we will see this will get populated once it has completed, and here it will show all the packages which we have installed. So let us wait till it completes. Now we can see it has completed. Now if you want to check, you can go to the libs it here, and you can see all the dependency which we have installed is there. This is the Django, this is the Django REST framework, and this is the MongoDB adapter Django. Fine. Now here, if you want to cross check from here, you can use this piplist command, and it will show what all things we have installed, and this is very much similar to this one, which is inside the requirement.txt file. Fine. Next thing what we can do, we need to create a Django project. Let us do that. So Django admin, and we can use this command start project, and we can give our project name. Let's say in our case we are going to create a student project. So we can see it has created inside left pane. We can see it has created student project successfully along with all the default files and folders along with this manage.py. Okay, fine. Now here we can go to our project folder first. Next we can create an application inside this project. So for that we can use python manage.py, and we can use this command start app, and here we can give our actual API name, application name. So I am giving API as an application name. So let us see. Now here it has created this API for us. Seems good. Now inside this API, whatever REST APIs we are going to create in Python web development, that all those REST API will reside inside this API. Fine. Now next thing, like we can create the model. Before we create a model, let us go to our project settings.xml. Herein first we need to add entries inside our installed apps. Here we need to add the REST framework which we have just installed, and we need to make an entry for our application name. So in our case our application name is API. We can save it. Next important thing we need to do, like we need to enter the database name. Okay, so here we need to configure our MongoDB database. For that we need to first configure our MongoDB adapter. which is the Django library, and here we can enter actual our database name. So in our case it's a stdDB, it is for student database. So let us cross check once if it is the same. Yes, std_db is the database name and students is the collection name. Now we don't need to mention the collection name, just database name is enough for us. Fine. So we have configured the MongoDB database successfully inside settings.py. The next thing, like what we can do, we can create our model. So let us come here, we can create one class, and here we can give name like it's a student and it's a model, we can use it. And here we can enter what all properties we require for the student. First is a name, and for that we can use char field inside which is available inside models, and here we can mention max length. Let us put 100 for now. You can adjust it as per your requirement. Next thing, like we can use email. So for now if for email it should be appropriate type, but for now we are using char field character set. And next one is a roll number. For that instead of char field we can use integer field. Seems good. And here we can add bracket. Next, like we can add our string interpretation part, self dot name. It should return the attribute name. We can save it. With this we have created our model successfully for student. Now let us create one serializer inside our application with name serializers.py. Why we need this serializer? Because to convert our model instance into the JSON format we require this serializer. So first of all we can import the serializer from our REST framework. Next we can import our model part we have just created, and our model is student. It should be models. Yes. Now we can create one class with name like student serializer, and here we can use serializers dot model serializer we can choose. Next thing, we can use one class and meta. And here we can use like what is the model. In our case it's a student. Next, what all fields we want to serialize. It's LDS. For now we are using all fields. We want to apply a serializer to all fields. That's it. We have created the serializer successfully for our student. Now what next we can do, like first of all we need to migrate this to the database. So for that we can use our migration command. So it will create a database related like schema on the backend side. So here like it will create all the required collection or document or whatever is there related to our Django and all first, and our model related part it will create. So we can use make migrations. This is the command we can use for migration. So we can see it has created student model successfully for the student model. Now next command we can use migrate to actually migrate it to the database side. Okay, so you can see it has migrated, and all these tables it will create on the database side. Now I am not sure if it is visible right now, but you can see after some time it will show all the things at here. Now next thing what we can do here we need to configure the URL part. Okay, so here urls.py we can create. So before we create the URLs, let us create the view part first. And to create a view, first of all we can use like view sets, and for this like we can use import from REST framework, like we can import the view set. REST framework, sorry, it should be import, and we can use view sets, and from models we can import our student model, and from our serializers we can import our student serializer. Next thing, like we can our class which is student, let's say view set, and here we can use this view sets, and we can use model view set. Next thing, we can use query set, and here we can mention like this is for student dot objects, and we can say all. Next we can we need to mention what is the serializer class, and in our case it's a student serializer. That's it. So we have created our view successfully at here, and this is the query set, and this is the serializer class. Now this is the model view set. This model view set class will provide automatic action for all the CRUD operations, like for creating, retrieving, updating and deleting. So for all these CRUD operations it will provide automatic method. So that's why we don't need to write much boilerplate code. Fine. Now next thing, like we need to configure the URLs. So here we can configure the URLs. For that we can first of all we need to create our here URLs. For we can add django.urls, and we can import the path and include from here. Next we can import from Django REST framework and routers, and we can import default router. Next, like we need to import our view, and in our case it's a student view set. Next we need to create one router which will be using the default router which we have just imported. Next we need to register our view set. We need to register our view set with the default router, and for to register the view set we need to mention what is the endpoint, it's a students, and what view set we are going to use, that is a student view set. So with this we have registered this view set with this endpoint. Okay, fine. And with this router we can say this is the default router we are using, and we have registered this view set with the default router. Fine. Now next thing, like we can use URL patterns array, and here we can mention the path, and here we can use the API, and next, like here we can use, we need to include router.urls. Fine. So with this we are done with our application level URL. Similar way we need to configure our application project level URL. So this is our project level URL entry. Here we can add one more entry to add our application level URL. We need to include it here, and we can add here, we can mention api.urls, and here we need to import the include, and we can save it. So that's it. We are done with our URL configuration. First we have created one URLs Python file wherein we have configured our application related URLs. Next we have included our application URL into our project URLs. That's it. We can save it. Next thing what we can do, like we need to create one super user. Okay, so let us do that. For that we can use python manage.py, and we can use create super user. This is the command for creating a super user. Now here you can give any username. So right now I am keeping simple username. Email address I am keeping blank, and password need to repeat the password. And for now I am bypassing the validation part. uh, we just need to create one simple super user. If you want to create proper super user, you can give the appropriate entries. Fine. Now next thing what we can do, the final thing we can do, like we can run our server using command python manage.py, and here we can use run server command. Seems good. Our server is running, development server is running, and this is the URL part. Okay, so once we create on this one, here we can now what API endpoint we can use. For that we need to go to first our project URL, and here what we have configured for this path, we are using the API URLs. Okay, now let us go to our API URL. This is the API and this is the URL path, and this is the first path for our URL, and this is the actual endpoint we need to use. Okay, so let us go to our browser, and here we can use our API, and the actual URL is the students, and we can use this one. Sorry, here third, not third. Okay, fine. So you can see it is showing the UI interface. This is the Django REST framework UI it has provided for us, and right now the list is empty, you can see, and these are some attributes wherein we can enter the entries, and once we click on post, it will create one record for us. Now here we can add one record. Let's say first we can add Sachin, and here we can add the Sachin Gmail, and roll number we can say 21. We can click on post button. Here we can see one record is added successfully. Now if we go back it here, we just need to refresh this one. This is a, we can see it is showing all the records right now, and this is our this is our collection it has created. So rather it is entering into this student collection, it will create one API underscore student collection, and herein you can see it has added all the records, just the first record which we have created. Now here what we can do, we can add one more entry, like let's say it's Kevin, and we can add one email for Kevin, and roll number is 22. We can post. Now Kevin is added. Now next thing what we can add, like let's say Peter, and here we can add Peter, and this is the 23 as an roll number. Now you can see we have added 3 records successfully. If you go to the list, it will show all the 3 records. Seems good. And if you want to cross check into the database side, we can simply refresh this one, and we can see we have 3 records right now. Now here what we can do, if you want to update any record, like we can simply enter the ID for that record, and it will fetch that record along with the populated values at here. Now instead of Peter, if you want to add instead of Peter, we can take like let's say Martin, and here we can add the Martin Gmail, and for roll number we can take like 24, and we can put. Now we can see it has updated successfully the third record. Now if you want to cross check into the database, like we just need to refresh it. Yes, we can see it is updated successfully, and if you go back to the list, now it is showing the third record with updated entries. Seems good. Similar way, if you want to delete any record, we can go to that record first by using the ID. We can type the ID at here, and it will page that record. Now here we have this delete button. Once we click on delete button, and once we click on delete confirmation, it will, the record will get deleted. Now if you go back to the list, you can see it has only 2 records because the third one we have just deleted. Similar way, you can cross check into the database side, the third record is deleted successfully. So we have seen all the CRUD operations successfully, and I hope you must have enjoyed this. I will request you to please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share the same. So let me repeat what all things I have done. Like first what we have done, like first we have created the virtual environment it here. Okay, and next we have installed the dependencies, like we have the requirement.txt, mentioned all the dependencies just to avoid any conflict related to the version or incompatible version. For that reason we have mentioned all the versions of the required package libraries. Next what we have created our Django project, and after that we have created application inside that. Next, like we have configured our database related stuff, MongoDB database inside the database entries, which is there inside settings.python file, and this is the database entry. And here we have added our installed apps. We have added a REST framework and API. Next thing, we have created a model. Next thing, we have created a serializers for that, and next thing we have created a views. Okay, after that we have migrated it so that it will create a database stuff on the backend side. And next what we have configured the URLs at the application level as well as at the project level. And finally we have created one super user, and next we have run our server and test our APIs. I hope you must have enjoyed this. Please do not forget to like, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for watching this.